pleasure. Look at all this abundance, right? Prosperity of every kind. To introduce Reverend Joanne Faith Boruck with her talk today, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life. And going along with our January theme, A Grand Rising.
Good morning. Welcome to this place. Welcome to this magical truth. Welcome to this place of individual growth and infinite possibilities. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Red Deer. Today is a great day. It's Ernest Holmes' birthday. Happy birthday, Ernest. And of course, I fell right off the wagon with what the talk title was, because I think how crazy that they're not doing Science of Mind this month and talking about Ernest Holmes. So I am talking about Ernest Holmes. And I invite you to join me in an opening affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. If you choose, you can close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And just bring yourself home into your heart. This is such a wonderful day to say thank you. So I begin with a statement of gratitude. I am filled with joy and thanksgiving for who I am and for what I know. I speak my word in the collective consciousness as we are all one. And this is what I know for sure. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than I am, and I can use it for good. This power is our use of the divine knowing, the Creator, the Spirit, God. The thing itself. I connect my body, mind, and spirit to this allness, this intelligence and goodness, and all is well. Today is the day I have complete control and connection. Today, I go within and make a decision to make it the best day ever. And I do it with awareness, integrity, and kindness. When I give out, it comes back to me tenfold. It's easy for me to be myself, the self that God intended me to be. And I ask myself throughout this day, is this what is intended for me to be? Am I kind? Am I aware? Am I sincere? Yes, yes, and more yeses resonate from my heart into my soul, and all is well. I close this prayer again with gratitude, knowing the more I am grateful for, the more I attract things to be grateful for. What a wonderful world we live in. This thing, spirit, mind, intelligence, works through me as me, and I'm open and grateful. I let these words go knowing they are returned in wholeness and completeness. It is done, and together we say, and so it is. So let's use this moment of wholeness to stay in our heart and to send those kind, loving, sincere thoughts to all those who are needing to know how much they are loved. Thank you. You know, when we bring somebody into our heart and send them loving thoughts, it brings them into the room. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel everybody we thought about just sitting in those chairs beside you. And I know that the day's coming when every chair will be filled. So, good morning again. It always takes me a minute to just come back into myself, to come back into awareness. So today I want to refresh those of you who already know everything about science of mind and for God, and those who don't know anything about science of mind and want to. Because this is a teaching. Ernest Holmes' book is called Lessons. It's a teaching on personal empowerment and oneness. Wow, what an amazing truth. You know, the first 2 weeks of January, we always delved into the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind book. It's called The Thing Itself, What It Does, How It Works, and How to Use It. So I want to do that again. I have 2 weeks left. This week I'm doing The Thing Itself and What It Does. Next week I'm going to do The Way It Works and How to Use It. On the front of this book, this Science of Mind book, it says, a philosophy, a faith, a way of life. And that's why I chose this book. So, if you open the book, the first thing you'll see is some things written by Ernest Holmes. And to me, it's like Genesis in the Bible, for lack of a better word. And it is amazing. Now, as soon as I find it, I'm going to read it to you. Here it is. Oh, it's right on the inside, before even the index. It says, these lessons are dedicated to the truth, which frees man from himself and sets him on the pathway of a new experience, which enables him to see through the mist to the eternal and changeless reality. And the next thing he has under there is something that he handed out at every class. And I hand out at every class because he was also a poet. He was a writer. He was a minister. He was spiritual. He was guided. And he wrote this poem called Peace Be Unto Thee, Stranger. And if you've taken a class, you've seen it. But this is what he wants you to know for sure. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my house. There is room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid with the fruits of life, and they're spread before thee. The wine is here also. It sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome. The first time I read that over 20 years ago, I was hooked. And I don't know about you, but when I buy a book, I like to read, the introduction first. And then if that catches me, that's the book I want to read. If I opened another book that said, Peace be unto thee, stranger, I'd read that book. And I've been reading this book for over 20 years, and I can tell you every time I open it, there's another lesson. So the introduction was really deep. And I know when I first started taking class, and this might be, you guys might understand this, the teachings in here are so foreign to our consciousness. Sometimes I couldn't even read in class because I thought, I've never formulated those words together. So much positivity, so much truth, so much love. It was really hard to read. And so today I continue on. Today I'm going to uncover the first two thoughts that Ernest Holmes had about his teaching. This way of life, it's a teaching, and there's always lessons to learn. The first two chapters are the thing itself and the way it works. So the thing itself, well, what thing? Anything? A specific thing? The thing itself, what a crazy title. But as I read, I realized that this thing itself, it's infinite intelligence. He opens in his very first chapter, he says, "We all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible world into the invisible world." The thing itself. So the thing itself could be your divine plan for your life, not your purpose, because we create our purpose out of God's plan. And if you're living your life on purpose, it just sails smooth because it's already God's plan for us. So the divine plan, God's plan, it's one of freedom. He also says in there that the divine plan is one of freedom. Boy, that's a big word in this last couple of years. Holy smokes. Freedom. What is freedom? Ernest Holmes says freedom is the absence of bondage. And we know from Nelson Mandela that he was in bondage, but he said, nobody can take away my freedom. So freedom is the ability to think. The ability to think for ourselves. And not to change anybody else's thinking. Can't do that. All we can change is our own. Ernest Holmes says freedom is the ability to think for yourself. Love is freedom. Love is that inner voice that tells us life is wonderful. A love beyond our wildest dreams. Freedom. Love craves freedom, and freedom craves love. So the thing itself is love. It's intelligence. It's our divine plan. It's God. Or is it? Or is it all of that? The thing itself is all of that. When Ernest Holmes says a philosophy, so this philosophy is a study of the fundamental nature of the mind, of knowledge, reality, and existence. Love, intelligence, and the divine plan. That's the philosophy and the faith. You'll find faith in every area of this teaching, because faith is the secret ingredient. And what I have met a lot of people who say, well, I don't have faith. And, my brother included. I guarantee he's not watching. But I remember reading in one of Ernest Holmes' books, he says, all you need is 51% faith. That's not much. If you have 1% more faith than fear or question, that's the thing itself. The magic ingredient. We live in a spiritual universe. And the way it works is God works for us, through us, and as us. So the thing itself is all of those things we forget who we are. Our divine intelligence, our power, our divine plan, our God-ordained nature, our freedom. If you ever forget who you are, remember the thing itself. And the second thing he talks about, so we know so much about this thing, this God, this plan, this love, this intelligence. And how does it work? Well, I can't really tell you how it works. You could plug in a kettle and there's electricity in there, but you can't see it working. It's working by faith. The thing itself works by faith. The way it works is like electricity, and we call it energy. The way it works. In Science of Mind, page 35, Ernest Holmes says, there is one energy back of all that is energized. This energy back of everything is spirit, back of all expression. And he goes on to say, I think that's a mystical meaning of Acts chapter 17, verse 28, when he says, in spirit we live and move and have our being. It works through us, as us. So this energy, it expresses his love through us, through our thoughts and emotions. That's the law of creativity. We create our life by first grounding ourselves in that infinite intelligence and then getting our bloated nothingness out of the way, he says, and letting it work through us. That really is, what is that prayer? The prayer of St. Francis. Make me an instrument of your peace. He works through us. So this energy, this love expresses through us as our emotions. There's a law of gravity. We can't see it, but we know it's there because we're standing here on earth. There's a law of electricity. We can't see it, but we can reap the rewards of it. There's also the laws of nature. The laws of the seasons. The seed grows into a plant. You harvest the plant. You get the seed. And we know it's there. We can't see that seed growing. So the way it works is another law. It's called the law of mind. That's a big word, and some people like to call it the law of attraction, the law of vibration, but it all starts in your consciousness, in your mind. That's where it's created. The thing works for us by working through us, by working as us. But it can only become power through us when we recognize that there is a power. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, I talked a lot about love, love, love. He says, love is the way, but law makes the way possible. And again, that's one of those words that has a bad rap. When you think of law, you think of bondage or rules. But how about just thinking about as the natural progression? The law of nature, the law of electricity, the law of gravity, the law of mind. That's not the same as the laws that they put in place to keep us in a box. These are laws of freedom. And I want to tell you a story. I have to tell you, Ernest Holmes also, he studied many religions. He was a minister. And he studied many religions. He believed in Buddhism, Hinduism, Sufism, the Tao, all of it. He was looking for the one thing they had in common. That was love and human divinity. Now, there's a story out there, and I never knew it was a Hindu story. And so it's called Human Search for Their Divinity. So Brahma, who is a Hindu sage, he called a meeting of his council. And he said to them, we have to decide where to hide human divinity. Everybody was out searching for it. Where is my divinity? Where's my God? So the Hindus decided, where are we going to hide this divinity? So the first person on council says, let's sink it in the deepest ocean. But Brahma replied, no, we can't put it there, for they're going to learn to dive into deep waters, and they'll search the ocean bed and they'll find it. And another council member said, I know, let's hide it in the highest mountain. Let's hide it there. But Brahma said, no, eventually humans will climb every mountain, and someday they'll find it. And the next person said, I know, let's hide it deep in the sea. And Brahma says, no, we can't hide it there. There is no place on earth, in the sea, or in the sky that humans will not eventually search. So Brahma thought about this for a long time, and he says, here's what we'll do. This is what we're going to do with human divinity. We're going to hide it deep inside each individual human being. The humans will search the whole world, but they won't look inside for their true selves, their true divinity. So ever since then, the legend concludes that humans have been going to and fro through the earth, climbing and digging and diving and exploring and searching for something that's already within themselves. This oneness, this allness, this divine intelligence, it's everywhere present. There's a power for good in the universe. And it's wonderful how much good we can have. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it for good. So you might think, good? Well, how can I get more good? How much good can I have? Ernest Holmes says, as much as you can embody. But not just in your mind. You can't just go around thinking, okay, I attract good. You have to live it. It's not enough to know good, you have to practice it. And so then he goes a little deeper. How do you practice good? Well, we're physical beings living in a spiritual universe. So let's get back into our physical bodies for a minute and practice seeing good. So I have a question to ask you. How much good can you embody? When you're having a limiting thought, a limiting belief, right away you're saying, oh, I can only embody up to my limiting beliefs. So etch-a-sketch that out of your mind. No limiting beliefs. And I challenge you just for today to look for the good in your life right now. How much good do you have in your life right now? And the more you focus on your good, the more good you will attract. That's the law. That's the law of attraction. That's the law of vibration. That's the law of mind. As well as noticing your good, affirm it. Speak it out loud to yourself or to others. Okay, I have so much good in my life. Affirm it. Affirm it. And the next thing is feel it. And right now, just close your eyes and just think of something that felt so good, and how does it feel to feel so good? It's pretty easy for us to listen to our bodies when we're not feeling good. But when we're feeling good, we just take it for granted. We have to feel it. And that's how it works. It works through us, as us, is us. That's the philosophy of Ernest Holmes. That's the faith of this teaching. A way of life that I want to be a part of. We all want to be a part of. So as we leave here this morning, knowing so much more about the thing itself and the way it works, I challenge you to embrace the thing itself. Whether we resonate with it as Great Spirit, Buddha, Allah, Creator, Divine Intelligence, or God, always know there's a power greater than you are in the universe for good. How much good can you embody? As much as you can accept. That's the way of love. This is a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. Thank you, Ernest. I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace and love, Boruck. And I wish for you all blessings from the thing itself and the way it works. Thank you.